All right, so I hope everyone can hear me. Everyone meaning no one who's watching right now. I still don't get the streaming thing, man. I really don't. I'm not a streamer. I've tried streaming a couple of times before. It hasn't really been my bag. Like talking to nobody right now is definitely a choice. It's an interesting choice for me, right? And I'm not used to it, right? I'm used to talking to Monica or Shannon, my ex co-host. So just talking into the abyss with nobody watching is interesting. But first things first, for anyone who does eventually watch this broadcast, my show with Monica, we will start recording that podcast in the new year. As you can see, I'm not in my normal setting like how I was before I moved. So the move has kind of messed things up for me. So I'm waiting for me to get back comfortable to get the room set up. It's probably a lot echoey right now. I have no furniture at all. So that's why we haven't been recording and you haven't seen any clips of the podcast. I apologize. And also apologies for the ashiness. I just noticed, but what are you going to do? So right now, no one is watching this, and that's fine. I wanted to talk about the immigration stuff happening right now on X between, it seems like the MAGA base, like the Republican white MAGA voters versus Elon Musk, Vivek, some other individuals that are kind of in the pro high skilled immigration debate. And they've been going at it for a couple of days. I initially didn't see it like at all. I had no idea what was happening. There's this account that I follow that's like I slash all mon eyelash show. I think that's his name. Whatever. And he posted, "Hey, I'm kind of disheartened by like all of the anti-Indian sentiments, on my that I'm seeing on X." And I was confused. I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because on X, any social media platform, you have to be careful because you can find yourself in these small little pockets, these like silos that you didn't really plan for, and it'll make you think that something is a bigger deal than it actually is. So at the time when he talked about it, I didn't see it, and so I replied to him. I said, "Yo, so let me know." And I say him, assuming it's a man. I have no idea if it's a man or his identity or her identity is hidden for whatever the reason. But I replied saying, like, I'm not seeing this at all. And I follow quite a bit, quite a few conservative accounts on X. Who should I follow so that I can see what you're seeing? And he never responded. But maybe a couple of hours later, I started to see the talk about high skilled immigration. I think it's HB1 or H1B, which is like this. I'm guessing this program that allegedly, it lets high skilled immigrants come to America. I don't know. I'm just saying right now, I'm not a political savant or a scholar. Up until this debate previously, I never heard of HB1 visas or H1B visas. None of that stuff. Absolutely none of it. So who knows? But now for the past 2 days, it's been apparent. Like, and they're really going hard. The MAGA Republicans versus the I don't know, it's Elon and Vivek and some other not high ranking but just non-MAGA, I think, Republicans going back and forth about the high skilled immigration. And even if you don't know specifically about the HB1 program or H1B, whichever one it is, right? If you don't know the specifics, like I don't. Again, I never heard of the program until 2 days ago, literally. It doesn't mean that you can't follow in on the overall conversation about legal, high-skilled immigration or just legal immigration in general. And you're kind of seeing the different parts of MAGA, the different sections of the Republican Party kind of hashing it out about, hey, where do we want to go from here as a country? And so, yeah, there's some racism, sure. People are already complaining about how the anti-Indian jokes and the racism in the Republican Party, or the Republican, the white MAGA crowd Republicans, they're talking about the Indians, calling them lazy and all that stuff. And true, I'm sure that all of that is true. Got you. But let's stick to the important conversation about immigration, right? And because as a black person, and I'm gonna get to black people in a second, because black people, y'all out there, telling jokes and cracking jokes and saying, "Oh my God, look at the white people, they want DEI and all that stuff." We have a vested interest in this discussion. If you are a black person in America, you have a vested interest, especially if you're a black man. You have a vested interest in immigration. Nobody's going to tell you that for some reason. A lot of our political leaders like to pretend like we don't have a stake in illegal immigration, or that the black position is to be pro-immigration at all costs. And I think that's dumb. I do. Sorry, it's parched. There's definitely a there should be an interest that we have as black people in the immigration conversation, right? But I want to start kind of here. I feel like illegal immigration is a very important topic to discuss. It is. Again, I am not pro illegal immigration for obvious reasons. As a black man, illegal immigrants come into America and they undercut the poor and the working class in America. There have been multiple studies exploring this subject. So when people say that, oh, that's right-wing propaganda, it is not. It is not. It is a fact. Illegal immigration hurts African Americans. Illegal immigration hurts white Americans. Illegal immigration hurts the working class and the poor. It is what it is. That's the evidence. That's the data. Now, you can still be in favor of illegal immigration and name the positives and the pros, because there are pros to illegal immigration, right? You have labor for corporations that you can pay below what any American would take, right? Which allows you to both keep prices extremely low if you want to, and you rake in profits. So it's good for corporations, agriculture. A lot of these farmers and stuff, that own these big farms, they'll pay illegal immigrants less than they would any American. And again, kind of that cheap labor allows you to keep more of the profits and also keep prices lower than your competitors. So you have that going on. Depending on where you live, illegal immigrants, I think they're counted towards the census. I think. Yeah, they are. They're counted towards the census. And the census is how the federal government decides, how much aid and how much money to send to each individual state. So it's a plus in that sense, right? And I'm sure there's some other pluses that I'm not thinking of right now. Again, you can be pro illegal immigration without lying about the fact that illegal immigrants undercut low income and the middle class, as far as it makes it harder for them to negotiate for higher wages because they have more competition for those jobs. If you go back to COVID, and then if you remember where you saw for the first time during the pandemic, McDonald's workers and delivery workers and all of these different low skill jobs that were getting raises for the first time. It was because it was COVID created the perfect storm where you had a significant number of job positions, and you did not have an abundance or a surplus of people seeking jobs, right? So when you have less workers and more job openings and positions, there's not a competition for the worker. So now you get these places offering higher wages, offering more benefits, right? Whether that be healthcare benefits, whether that be assisting to pay for college, right? There are a bunch of benefits that these various corporations and companies were offering. That's the result of having more jobs than people. When you have more people than jobs, the power is in the hands of the employers. So the employers now are not incentivized to offer high wages or benefits because they know that, okay, if you want to take this job for this amount of money, there's somebody else who might need this job for this amount of money. So I'm going to actually be as stingy as possible with what I'm offering. And this doesn't make either side, like, I don't take the perspective that this makes corporations bad or employers bad because, again, they are behaving how they are being incentivized to behave, if that makes sense. So this isn't like a moral issue. This is more of, you know what, people respond, and corporations, yes, they're not people, but people run corporations, and they respond to the incentives that government gives to them. So it is what it is. So illegal immigration does hurt the working and the poor, right? And it's an important conversation. I would argue it won Donald Trump the election. Democrats didn't really pay that much attention to immigration. Joe Biden, I think he cracked down on illegal immigration like a year out from his last year, which made people wonder, okay, well, you were saying before that you couldn't crack down on illegal immigration because of the Republicans not signing the bill. But you just cracked down on illegal immigration when it came close to your time to run again for president. So clearly you had the power to, you just lack the incentive to, right? So it won Donald Trump the presidency. And it's a very important issue. I still think illegal immigration is actually it's a distraction from the actual conversation that we actually need to be having. So it's a safe conversation because for some reason, if you say that you're anti-immigration, if you say that you think that we should have like lower levels of legal immigration, that comes across a lot worse than if you kind of push back on illegal immigration. People draw a big distinction, or put it like this: almost anyone, even those that are sympathetic to illegal immigrants, they will understand you not wanting illegals in your country. They might vehemently disagree with the way that you enforce it. They might vehemently disagree with, sending them back to their country, yada, yada, yada. But they will be empathetic and understand, yeah, you know what? I can't fault him for wanting to, enforce the border and not wanting people that he doesn't know and they have no background record into his country, right? But it is a distraction from the actual conversation that is now taking place about immigration in general. We need to have an immigration conversation, not an illegal immigration conversation, an immigration conversation in general. And it looks like we're finally getting there. And it took a while, and the conversation is a little bit inflamed right now between the whites and the Indians. But if we can look at the upside, we're finally having that tough conversation that we need to have. And so, basically, there's a program called HB1 or H1B. Again, I don't know the order of it, right? Where Elon Musk and Vivek have been arguing that this program is a good thing because it helps import high IQ, high skilled immigrants. It gives them the opportunity to come to America and put their brains, their talents to use in America, right? So, hey, the top 1% in Africa, the top 1% in India, the top 1% over there, hey, come over to us through this program and you give us your talent, your genius. In return, you get to live in America, which is a better country to live in than your country. Right? That's the argument that Vivek and Elon are making, that this is a good thing. And actually, we need more of this because we don't have enough good workers in America. We don't have enough people in America that are, hard workers, that that take education seriously. We don't have enough of that in America. So it's a good thing we have this program to import these people into America so that it'll help us stay ahead of our competitors as it pertains to, math, science, innovations, you name it. right? That's their argument. And I don't know if Elon and Vivek were ready for the amount of pushback that they eventually got. I don't know, but the pushback came, and the white MAGA crowd is arguing that, hey, instead of trying to just import a bunch of people into the country, why don't we actually use our resources to invest in American workers and invest in the country here, right? If you're saying, and so there's two arguments there, right? So that's the overall point. And then some have said that, oh no, there are plenty of American workers that can do these jobs, but they are white Americans and they are being discriminated against in favor of these foreigners. So there's that argument saying, no, we got the people, but you guys prefer the foreigners, cheaper labor. I think apparently if you kind of get into the country as a worker underneath the H-1B or HB-1 program, you actually don't, or like if you leave the job, wherever you got hired at, you're at like a high risk of being deported again. So the workers are almost tied to a single corporation, which the corporation likes because, hey, if I have you working for me out of fear, I don't really have to worry about you going to somebody else or offering you a higher wage, a raise. For what? It's you work for me or your ass go back to your country, right? So, Vivek and Elon have been arguing this is a good thing. The white MAGA crowd has been arguing that this is a bad thing, right? And one argument, like I said before, is we have the workers, but they're not getting hired because they're white. The second argument is, hey, let's assume that you're right, Elon and Vivek. Currently right now, we don't have the workers for whatever the reason, right? Instead of trying to just import people into America from India, how about we invest in the American worker so that we can actually have more American workers filling the position or these positions at these, tech companies and high IQ, high skill jobs. And then eventually we won't have this big gap of talent within the country, right? Invest in the country. That's the other side of the argument, right? So there are two arguments being made on behalf of the these Indian workers, which is, hey, we got the talent, but y'all racist, y'all not hiring white dudes. And second argument, okay, if we don't have the talent, then let's invest in American workers. And then the rebuttal from Elon and Vivek are, we need the people now because we don't have enough. And that this is a good thing and that we should always be prioritizing meritocracy. Now, I have some problems with that argument. But that is Elon and Vivek's argument against the white MAGA crowd, Republican crowd. They've been going at it for a couple of, hours, days, really. And black people are on the sideline making jokes. As far as where I stand on the whole issue, I absolutely am in favor of high-skilled immigrants coming to America, high IQ immigrants coming to America. But all of these people should be brought into America only if they will enhance the lives of Americans. Again, I am not in favor of helping these individuals enrich themselves or help their families back home. No. You come into the country, we're bringing you here to work for us. That's it. You work for us. If you create something great and found some company, you hire American workers first before you go ahead and try to bring in some other people, right? That's my attitude on the whole high-skilled immigration conversation. Yeah, we need them. Vivek isn't totally wrong when he talks about how in America right now we don't really prioritize hard work and valuing education, pursuing academic excellence. He is right. I don't know how many times I'll tell y'all that when I found out a good chunk of people overall can't read, that changed the way I interact with almost everyone online and in person. it just does. Wait, you tell me no one can read? No one? Like all these mofos just getting promoted grade after grade, can't read, can't do mathematics at a proficient level? That's a reality. You know, white MAGAs can get mad at it all they want to. That is a honest assessment in some ways of kind of where we are in America right now, where, yeah, Vivek is not lying. We don't have look, put it like this. Based off of everything that I see from coworkers that I work with in the past, maybe a little bit right now, I'm trying to be ambiguous so if in case anyone, see this video, they don't get offended. The school kids, my mother, she's retired now, but she was a school teacher for most of my adult life. And so, I would hear stories from my mother and things of that nature. And then again, I also would just be around kids sometimes. These kids are not that bright. I'm sorry. Y'all can get mad at Vivek all you want. Some of these kids just aren't that bright. They ain't the brightest light bulbs. They're not. So add on the fact that a lot of these kids they aren't naturally smart. They also can't read. They also can't do mathematics, which means you can't be that great at science, most of y'all. I mean, science is the combination of mathematics and reading. That's how you become good at science. Can't do that. And I want us to stay ahead of China and Russia and everyone. I want America to be the most powerful country on the face of the earth. And you need the talent to compete with these people in these STEM fields, right? Working for our military, creating new technologies. You just do. And so we need them. Where I think the MAGA Republicans have a point, though, is we should be bringing in the bare minimum that we need to stay ahead of our competitors and to keep us ahead of the technological race that we're having right now between Russia, China, India. Yes, whatever the bare minimum is to do that, we should do. But with the MAGA Republican will they have it right or correct? In my opinion, is no. After that, though, yes, the American worker needs to be invested in. The American worker needs to be prioritized. Point blank, period. I agree with that 100%. Because, and I've said this before, that you have to be careful when you're talking to people or you hear people talking about America, because America, as a word, when it's used, it means different things to different people. So you have to really be careful when you kind of throw out that, when people are talking about America, right? Because there's America, the location, right? I'm talking about there's America. There are others who, when they say America, they're talking about America, the people, the citizens. That's kind of how I like to view America. When I talk about America, I'm talking about most of the time the people in America. I'm not necessarily talking about America, the location, or even America, kind of the government, which is the last way that people talk about America, right? They refer to America. What they're really referring to is the government. Okay? I'm not referring to the government. I'm usually 9 out of 10 times referring to the American people. Vivek and Elon, from what they're from the way that they're talking, the way they're framing this, they probably look at America through the lens of America, a location, right? So, and here's why these differences matter. Somebody like me, who when I say America, I'm referring to America, the people. I don't view the people as, hey, you just swap some people in here and you get the same country. You see what I'm saying? If you're talking about America, the people, then you care about the citizens. The country, the government is cool. The location is cool, but what makes America America are the citizens of America. Versus people like Elon and Vivek, they think of America through the lens of the government and the location. And the citizens are irrelevant or interchangeable. So it doesn't matter to them that the American citizen isn't doing that well. Hey, screw it. Let's bring in these people to come in, right? And we'll keep America, the government, the corporation, right? The location. It'll stay a desirable education, a desirable location because, we're bringing in all of these high-skilled immigrants to come in and, make dope stuff and all of that goodness, right? So we have that. And the American government, the elected officials, this mass influx of legal immigrants doesn't bother that. It doesn't really slow down the federal government, so that's cool too. But the American citizen, it's irrelevant to them, right? Again, be careful when people talk about America. It is very important for you to kind of really boil it down. Okay, what do you mean exactly when you say America? Do you mean America like the people, the location, the government, the corporation of America? What do you mean, sir, ma'am, whoever? And so that's what you have. You have part of the Trump coalition that is in favor of America, the people. And you have another part that is in favor of America, the location or / corporation. I like corporation better. America, the corporation versus America, the people. I believe that you have to do things for the American people. Nothing else matters to me. Nothing else matters. And so I think the MAGA white Republicans have the right idea this time. I do. I think they are in the right. And as more information is coming out about the H-1B or HB1 program / system, we're starting to see that, this service doesn't just apply to, high IQ and skilled jobs. It seems to be for other industries as well. Might I say blue collar, maybe even low skill labor. And if that's the case, then again, remember what I said at the top. We have the studies that show immigration, when we have a large influx of migrants or immigrants, you undercut the position of the working class and the poor. You just do. You do. So I will be following this story like a hawk because I really do think that it's an important conversation, and it's the immigration conversation. Like, illegal immigration is the distraction. It is. It's the legal immigration is the real conversation that we need to have, right? How many people do we want to be bringing into America? Do these individuals have any obligation to, Americanize, for lack of a better term, themselves, right? Learn English. Learn about democracy, right? Learn about capitalism. The history of America. For me, language. I think if you're going to come into America, you have to speak English. Now, would you speak in your own house? Don't care. If you're going to work for an American company, I believe you should have to speak English for the most part. I do. And of course, I'm saying that because I only speak English and I'm an American. So, of course, I'm going to advocate for, again, as a citizen, I'm going to advocate that we bring in people into the country that don't make it harder for me, an actual citizen, and I'm a real American, right? I'm a trace my family back to a slave that was owned in this country, which I've done American, legacy American. I'm not like y'all, right? Some of y'all, new Americans, right? We need American stickers. OG American here. But these are important conversations to have. And before I wrap up my stream here, I actually have no idea how long I've been streaming or if this stream is actually working. I should have checked that first. Let me go and check to see if this thing's actually streaming. It is. I see it now. Okay. Um. Last point that I want to get to before I kind of wrap things up. I want to talk to my fellow Black Americans because I saw a lot of jokes being cracked. I saw Van Lathan's cracking some jokes. I saw Bakari Sellers. He finally got back to making posts on X after he had his chest out during the election. Sure that Kamala was going to win. By the way, sure that Kamala was going to win, and we saw how that turned out. Making jokes that hey, white people are asking for DEI, and oh my God, look at the white Republicans attacking the Indians, Civil War, all of these jokes, and I get it. It's social media, I get it, but I really want to stress something to Black people, right? We have maybe African Americans, right? Legacy African Americans, not, Africans that came to America, not Black Americans who don't have their history tied to slavery. OG Black Americans. FBA, you might want to call it, ADOS, you might want to call yourself, whatever the term. I say the real Americans. We have the most to lose as it pertains to the immigration debate. I don't know how we've been convinced with, the NAACP and Al Sharpton and the rest of these folks that we should look at the immigration issue as like a people of color against the white man issue. I think that's stupid as hell. Black people. I mean, honest. I think it is dumb, but we've been convinced to look at the issue through those lens or through that lens. That's a mistake. It is. It is. As America becomes less white, right? So, as the number of white Americans continues to dwindle, and the number of non-black, but also non-white Americans begin to rise, as those numbers come up, Black Americans will be viewed at being at the bottom of the totem pole. Right? A lot of you don't realize this, but one of the main ways in which Black Americans have been allowed to thrive in America for the past couple of years is due to white guilt. I know, it ain't a sexy thing to say. It's not sexy. Some of you don't want to hear it. White guilt, right? White people feeling guilty about the legacy of slavery, the history of America, the treatment of African Americans during, Jim Crow, the 93 crime bill, all of that stuff. A good chunk of white people felt bad about it, about those things, right? For whatever the reason, they felt that they had an obligation, a duty to help to rectify things to improve the lives of African Americans at the expense, you could argue, of their own lives and the lives of their children. That's not present with these other people of color groups. Right? Like, it doesn't exist. They don't view the African American plight as their problem. And to be clear, I'm not saying that I think it is their problem. I'm not even saying I think that white Americans should have that they should have looked at us as their problem today. But I'm explaining what is and what does happen, and that does happen, right? White guilt is a thing. These other groups, they don't have it. They don't have. They don't. It doesn't exist. They don't feel any type of way about us and our condition, where we live, why our neighborhoods look the way that they look. Redlining. They don't care about none of that. They care about making the lives of their children better. They care about getting jobs, taking over companies and corporations. That's what these other people of color groups care about. And so while we're cracking jokes on the issue, and I get it. It's funny to watch white MAGA Republicans go against Indians. I get it. But I think it's misplaced. I think we should be, kind of checking out the scene, see what's happening. We don't have a second language. Indians do. Hispanics do. Russians do. We don't. We speak English, similarly to our white brothers and sisters who speak primarily English. That's it. So our natural ally is the white American, but we've been convinced to view the world through like this color prism. And so because a person of color, their skin color is closest to ours, there should be some natural allyship. No. So make jokes and laugh and keep thinking that this is not your problem, that you don't have to care about this. I hope your house is in order. I hope you're one of the blacks that, black Americans that are out there, putting, ass to pavement, working their behinds off, going to school, getting degrees and things that actually matter to get a good job. I hope you are on that track. Because if not, and if you're one of these black people that talk about, systemic racism and the American imperialism and all of that stuff, cool, I got you. I think if you thought about it for a second, though, whatever type of relationship that you think blacks have with whites in America, you would prefer that than blacks as a minority to Indians, or blacks as a minority to Hispanics, right? Or blacks as a minority to, right? Like, you would much prefer the white man you have today versus the person of color that you're gonna have tomorrow. If you really think about what matters to you, black person. So I'm ending it there. I'm ending it there. This was therapeutic for me to get this out. I've been holding this taken for a day or two. Still not used to talking to nobody. I got 3 views right now. So talk to absolutely nobody, but I'm assuming everyone who was streaming started like this. And I still have to get used to talking to myself. It is such a I'm not a natural just talking to the camera or talk, even like right now I was looking into my image here. I wasn't looking into the camera. Even that's hard for me to do. So just bear with me. I might chop this up to make little videos. I don't know. And I have no idea when's the next time I'm going to stream. But just remember, podcast coming in the new year, January. And next stream coming, who knows? Could be tomorrow, could be next week, could be never. It is what it is. Please subscribe to the podcast. Please subscribe to my YouTube page here. Share this video with your friends. And, leave a comment. I want to hear your thoughts about the whole immigration battle. Okay? Until next time.